Well, it's been a while, but we're back, and after missing out on an episode during the weekend, we're here for some more Williams Road to Glory. Today's episode is a big one. It's the Japanese Grand Prix, my favourite circuit, and a race which you do not want to miss. Now, I don't want to spoil it, but if you guys haven't seen the previous episode, then go check that one out first. I'll leave a link up in the top right hand corner of your screen as always. But today, Japan, let me tell you, this race, as you can tell by the title, is a game changer. So that's what I'm going to say. Let's jump into it. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and let's get into the action. Now we jump into the laptop, and first of all we look at the weather forecast, which confirms we have some rain for qualifying. We then move into the progression chart. We have brought an upgrade this weekend, so we take a step closer to Racing Point and Ferrari, so slowly making progress. We then look at the upgrades we have on the way, and it's going to be a major chassis upgrade. And finally, the breaking news this weekend, Sebastian Vettel has confirmed his retirement, and he will be leaving F1 at the end of the season. So there could be a shake-up in the works in the driver market heading into next year. So we'll keep a close eye on that one as the season transitions to next year. I'll put a poll up on my community post, and you guys were interacting with it regarding whether I should do a season 3. We'll see how that goes in terms of the response over the next few days. But let me know in the comments down below if you guys want to see a season 3 of this. If it were to happen, it would be a shorter 16 race season. But let me know in the comments down below as we went through practice and then jump now into qualifying. And as you can see, the rain is falling. So what I did was I actually just sat in the garage and waited because the rain dried up at the end of Q1. And I'm going to try and get through on just one set of tyres. I've put fuel in for 2 laps. And on this first one, into turn 1, we get so close to the back of Danny Kvyat there. We almost have an absolute high speed just airplane crash basically. Luckily we managed to avoid it, and I then managed to go for a bit of a reset, go for a push lap, and now at the end of the lap you can see here currently we're P20, the checkered flag has dropped and we need this lap to get into Q2. So I was just making sure that was safe. I didn't want to go completely aggressive, just trying to make sure it's within track limits, and you know, making sure we make no mistakes, keep it nice and smooth, don't slide or lose the back end. And across the line we go, and we do set a good enough lap to get P12. So luckily we escape a bit of a tricky Q1 with the rain, trying to not use an intermediate and just go through on one set of soft tyres. Russell also scrapes through in P15, so both of us just about getting through. We then move into Q2, and this was my first lap, fresh set of soft tyres in the car, but I completely messed up 1 and 2, missed the apex completely for both of them, oversteer on the exit, and then into the S section here I get a bit of oversteer as I just lose the stability of the car going over the curb through the inside curb of turn 3, and that ruins my first lap attempt. So already that's down the drain, and what I did was I went back to the pits. I went out early in case I needed to go for another lap. So this is going to be my first attempt at a clean lap in Q2, so let's go on board for a full lap as we go down towards turn number 1. This time we're going to make sure we hit the apex, 50 meter board, turn in, flat out into 1, and then start to brake and downshift into 2. Use all the exit curb on my left hand side as we now tip the nose into 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. The S section basically, really important here to use inside curbs for rotation purposes as we then cut up through the Dunlop. If you keep it flat through here, you're going to be on for a good lap. Bring the car to the left hand side for the shortest run as we then flick it into the Degner. Degner 1, 7th gear, Degner 2, 4th gear as we just miss the apex slightly, but we get a good exit and good drive out of there anyway. And then up towards the hairpin, or as I like to call it, the Kobayashi curve. 2nd gear, short shifting on the exit to avoid wheel spin to get a nice clean run out of there. And again, keeping the car tight to the right hand side to really maximise lap time. And I've noticed there's a lot of time to find around here if you do that. If you stay close through turn 7, which is the exit of the Dunlop, up towards the first sector, if you keep it tight to the left and then also keep it tight to the right on that previous straight, and also through here if you keep it tight through 130R and also out of the final corner, you can easily gain, I would say, a 10th to a 10th and a half in lap time alone. So it's definitely worth, if you're clutching up for a league race or something serious, definitely take the tight lines through here, especially at the final corner here. You're going to get an easy half a tenth just by keeping it to the right. And we go P3, a 1:24.0. And to be fair, I didn't have to go back out again. That lap was enough. I was planning a second lap it wasn't necessary. George Russell gets into Q3 again for the second race in a row, so George doing really, really well and pulling out the bag when it matters. Bottas getting through on mediums, and we set the exact same time as Pierre Gasly in P2. We then move into Q3 then, the final session and the final part of qualifying, and this was my first time lap. We've got a 24.0 as a reference from Q2 to aim for, and we're going to see what we can do. We've got 2 fresh sets of soft tyres for this one, so we're going to try and use those as we keep the car tight to the right hand side. DRS open, we go P3 again, 23.8, a 0.2 of a second improvement compared to our Q2 lap, so straight away a very strong banker, and it's going to take a lot to beat that lap. So here we go, the final lap in Q3, my final attempt in qualifying. We're currently P4. Let's see what we can do on this lap. This time you guys can enjoy the engine sounds. There we go, at the final chicane, keeping it super tight to the right hand side, and it's an absolute belter. A purple sector 3, we improved by 2.5 tenths to set a 23.5, and we finish in P4. But that's not all. George Russell, P6 in the second car. What a result, what a day. And worth noting, Verstappen of course got knocked out in Q2, so he's not even in the top 10, so having both cars in Q3 is massive for us. What a qualifying from us, what a lap, and what a performance from George Russell. We're clutching up when it matters. Mercedes 1-2 on the grid, they were comfortably quickest by 4 tenths over Albon. So yeah, in terms of the rivalry, Bottas outscores us. It's looking pretty unlikely we're going to beat him, so we're going to need a miracle. So let's see what happens. We're going to jump into the race and we're going to give it absolutely everything here for the Japanese Grand Prix.
We come to you live today from the Mie Prefecture in the south of Japan's Honshu Island for a race that has seen many title deciders over the years. Some simple, some controversial, but all contributing to a legacy that makes the Japanese Grand Prix an indispensable stop in any Formula One season. A lap of this historic racetrack covers 3.6 miles, and it's the only time during the season that we race on a figure-of-8 racetrack. The drivers can expect some intense G-forces through the 18 corners on offer here as they experience some of the highest average apex speeds on the Formula One calendar. And keep an eye out for overtakes going into the final chicane. And as always, a man with plenty of racing experience joins me in the commentary box. Today it's Anthony Davidson. Tell me, Ant, you're no stranger to surviving the melee of turn 1. So how do you keep out of trouble when there's so much going on around you?
Well, the throttle goes both ways, Crofty. You've got to have the discipline not to try and win the race on the first lap. So always be prepared to lift early and give those around you more space. Trying to be the last of the late breakers with half a dozen cars around you may pay off from time to time, but it's also a great way to lose your front wing.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Albon, Martinez, Daniel Kvyat and Russell, Leclerc, Gasly, Vettel and Daniel Ricciardo, Verstappen, Stroll, Lando Norris and Ocon. They've taken a grid penalty. Perez, Sainz, Romain Grosjean and Nobuharu Matsushita. Magnussen and Antonio Giovinazzi starts from the back of the grid. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Okay, here we are then, guys, on the grid for the Japanese Grand Prix. We start from P4. Second row, we've got Russell right behind us in P6. So both cars in the top 6, which is great and really, really encouraging. Max Verstappen outside the top 10. That's going to be massive for the championship here today. And of course, both Mercedes cars on the front row. We're going to try and cause a bit of trouble, try and get involved. The target this race, I think, is to get a podium. I don't know if we're going to beat the Black Arrows. I feel like they're a bit too fast around here. But we're going to try and, disrupt things and cause a bit of chaos and see if we can give it a good go. In terms of the strategy for this race, it's looking like this game wants to do a 2-stop, but the 2-stop is just not the way to go. So we're going to 1-stop it, soft to hard tyre, pretty straightforward. Fuel-wise, 1 extra lap. That's going to be more or less the right balance for us around here, and no rain expected. So let's jump into it, and let's see if we can try it and cause an upset. Okay, here we go. Lights are on. Let's try and get away well here. Quick 5 lights, and we're on the way. Oh, it's an absolute fly off the line. What a start. Straight on the inside here on Albon into turn 1 and 2. We're going to try and just edge ahead, which we do. And that is a great start. Absolutely love that. And I'll happily take a P3. Bottas ahead. He's on mediums, so we've got a bit of a strategy offset. Hamilton out front on soft, so I'm expecting him to just completely pull away. But of course, with Verstappen out of the top 10, this could be massive for us this race if we can, split the Mercedes here and finish maybe P2 this race. So I'm going to try and get past Bottas here straight away. See if I can use the fact he's on a medium to try and get the jump early on here. I think I'm going to struggle because ultimately it is still a Merc, but you never know. We might have enough pace to try and challenge him. So let's see. I'm going to use quite a bit of the ERS now to close the gap here and maybe challenge into the chicane. I need to nail this section though. Again, kind of relying on the fact that Bottas is on mediums here to really make a move. That's okay. We've gained a bit through that section. Look at the delta just go down here. We're flying onto the back of Bottas, and this is it. We're going to get him. Let's see if I can time this right. Through 130, a bit more ERS now as we go to the outside. Going to go the long way round on Valtteri. Gives me the inside through there. And we're through. Up into second place already, just like that. So, good start from us. And second place is exactly where we need to be. Now let's see if we can try and keep pace with Lewis Hamilton. And at the same time try and drop Bottas out of the 1 second window before the DRS gets enabled next lap. So let's crack on and let's see if we can make this work. Okay, we've done enough. We've just about dropped Bottas out of DRS range. Pace is okay, but the tyres are on the borders of overheating right now. So I'm having to manage them a little bit from now on. But so far, this is working well for us. I need Albon to kind of give Bottas a couple of problems and in a bit of trouble and just kind of take the pressure off from behind a little bit. Albon fastest lap. Him and Bottas are actually going quite fast now, and I can't really go any quicker than this. So they're now both within my DRS. I've used up all my energy, so I don't really have anything to kind of respond with. But Hamilton isn't running away, so we're still in this race. But I do need to find a bit of pace. This car definitely has a tyre wear issue. Once the tyres start to go, the pace really drops off and it's really hard to keep up, especially with the top teams. And also the strategies they do are quite hard for me to kind of match them. So I'm definitely... Ooh, okay, that's big. I'm definitely going to work on trying to improve that with upgrades, I think. Possibly for next season. Either way, that's good news about Bottas. Let's see if we can use that to pull away again and take some pressure off. Ooh, yellow flag behind. I'm going to pit. This is me preempting and predicting a safety car. And there we go. Bottas out the race. That's massive for the championship. Absolutely massive for the championship. Wow. Okay, hopefully George doesn't lose too much time here. We need a quick stop from the boys. Alright, away we go. Please don't cost George too much time, guys. I think he's going to lose a little bit, but he should be okay. The benefit of the last pit box should help him. Right, let's go up to speed straight away here. Need to try and push on this outlap, and I could potentially, I won't say leapfrog Hamilton, but we may have a chance of getting ahead of him maybe. Looks like Hamilton and Albon are not going to pit, which is very interesting. They're staying out. Oh wow, that is very strange, but basically suicide in this race, which is great news for us because it means they're going to throw their race away, once they pit after the safety car. So in theory, I should be the net race leader now, and George Russell will be on for a net P3. Okay then. Oh, Sainz out of the race as well, so a double retirement under the safety car. So down to 18 runners now. Stroll out as well.
It looks like the problem is terminal. They're retiring the car.
Huh. I don't know what the hell happened there. Something's happened though. Okay, safety car should be in this lap, but looks like it's staying out for one more. Maybe I'm wrong. It's hard to tell. Okay, no, there is in this lap. It's a late one, but it's in this lap, so the restart's going to happen straight away here. Right, do we have temperature in these tyres? The answer is a little bit. Nice bit of traction there. Yeah, we've got a little bit of temperature, so that's enough to hold on. Right, so back on the way. Hamilton and Albon have to pit, so we are technically the net race leader now, out of nowhere. I don't know how it's happened, but it has. Kvyat's net P2, Russell net P3 on for a podium. If we can get a 1-3 for both championships, that would be colossal at this stage of the season and a real game changer. But let's not speak too soon. Let's see if we can, bring home these results first. For now, let's see if we can try and keep the pace of the cars ahead, because I feel like Hamilton and Albon will still have a slight edge on that soft tyre, even though it's quite worn at this stage. And there we go, Hamilton and Albon pit, releasing me into the race lead. Right, let's push. I need to try and break DRS with Kvyat. That will make it a lot easier for Russell to keep up. If Kvyat stays in my DRS, I might end up, dropping Russell, and that's not what we want here. So I need to push and drop Kvyat out of the 1 second window. So let's crack on here. Personal best, DRS now enabled, and Kvyat 1.5 behind. So this is perfect. We've now just got to manage the race. Verstappen's up to P5. So Max having a great race and a great recovery drive here today, but crucially, we have the P1 position, which is exactly what we need. So let's try and bring this one home. Pretty much just over half race distance, so still a long way to go. A lot can happen. This has been a great lap for me, actually. The second half of the lap especially has been insane. I'm going to drain the battery here, and we do take a fastest lap. That was my intention, and we've got it. Russell still hanging in there, P3, as we enter the final 10 laps. This is good news from us. All round, this is going perfectly so far. Let's try and keep it that way. Another great lap here. On for another purple. Made a bit of a mess of the final chicane, but still should be enough to just improve the lap time slightly. There we go, 26.7. If we get an extra point this race, that would be huge. So hopefully we do get that. And another fastest lap, 3 in a row. That'll be the last one though, as I'm now out of ERS. And we've built a nice gap to Kvyat now, so hopefully George can make it a 1-2. If he could make it a 1-2, that would be historic. That would be incredible. Okay, Gasly's just overtaken Verstappen for P5, so Verstappen, I did see him battle a little bit with Vettel and Ricciardo as well, so definitely some action back there, and that's allowing Kvyat and Russell to break away into a 2, which is going to solidify Russell potentially picking up a podium here today. Looks like the AI are starting to pick up their pace now. Gasly got the fastest lap, then Hamilton took it away, and now Kvyat has dropped Russell out of his DRS range, so things are opening up now. I'm pushing for another fastest lap attempt. I don't know if I've got enough tyres or pace to get it, but I'm trying through the final chicane. Down out of there. Oh, I'm drifting out the final corner, but across the line. We don't get it back though. 26.6. I think we're going to have to accept we're not going to get the fastest lap though, unfortunately. That's okay, let's just bring the car home now for the win. Okay, here we are then. Last lap of the race. What a race here today. So strange, so many weird things, but it's looking like it's going to be history as we get our first ever double podium of the series. Russell's going to hold on for P3. We're going to win, and for the championship, this is huge. Come on.
They've done it then, here at Suzuka. A brilliant win on this beloved figure-of-8 circuit. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
Well, the safety car completely changed the race, didn't it? It's hard to say exactly what would have happened without it, but there's no question that they came out of that situation in a good position.
Williams have put in an incredible performance out on the track today. I'm glad all the hard work of theirs has finally paid off.
Well, there we go then. That is it for the race here at Japan. It's massive. It has huge championship implications. We finished P1, Kvyat second, Russell on the podium in third place, Sebastian Vettel P4 ahead of Gasly, Norris and Ocon. Lewis Hamilton, the first of the championship contenders, is only P8 ahead of Perez and Albon. Verstappen P11 with the fastest lap, but crucially is out of the points, therefore his fastest lap does not count and he will score a big fat 0 here today. Ricciardo, Giovinazzi, Leclerc, Magnussen, Grosjean, Matsushita all miss out on the points, along with Stroll and Sainz who retired, and Bottas also DNFing as the other championship contender. We look at the driver standings, and heading into the final 4 races, I believe, we take the lead. We are 5 points ahead of Verstappen, 28 clear from Hamilton and 35 clear from Bottas. Russell with the podium moves up into the top 14 of the table, so it's a great day all round for the Williams team. Constructors wise, we put some clear daylight between ourselves and the competition, and the gap to Red Bull is just under 100 points, so we're looking pretty much mathematically confirmed to wrap up the championship in the Constructors in P3. So for the second year in a row, P3 decent enough, but now we have a title challenge, guys. We're P1. Can we win it? We're about to find out. Let's jump into the upgrades.
You're leading the championship. Are you happy to be there or feeling the pressure?
No, I'm happy to be there. You know, we've worked really hard for that, and there's expectations from everyone. You know, we're a team that wants to win and do well, so I'm trying to do my best.
Would you say the championship is already won at this point?
No, there's still a long way to go. There's no way. We've won it already.
You gained a lot of positions during the race, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. I think we got a bit lucky with strategy and, you know, all the chaos that happened around us, but elsewhere, you know, focusing on ourselves, it really worked well. The car was really good all round.
What do you think made the difference between this weekend and last weekend?
I don't know. I think it's just been a combination of, you know, a lot of things really, but the team's been working quite hard on, you know, the chassis and the aero, which is great.
Great. Well, that's everything.
Well, after that race, Bottas, because he DNF, scores a big fat 0, and somehow, out of nowhere, we're going to recuperate the lost points and take a 2-point lead in the rivalry heading into the next race. I can't believe it. Everything's just turned our way in this race. It's such a critical race for the championship. I could have never imagined a race like this. You know, it's been more perfect than I ever imagined. Anyway, let's jump into the upgrades. Okay, here we are then, back in the main menu / the office, and we've got a aerodynamics upgrade for the actual facility department, which is great, so hopefully that will help us out. 1,895 points to spend, so we're going to go ahead and spend those right now. And looking at our options, it's probably going to be spent on, I think the chassis is tempting, but I don't have enough for this one here, so we're going to save that for the off season. So looking at the powertrain, I'm thinking maybe a little ERS upgrade. That could be a little decent one at this stage of the season, so we're going to go ahead and get that on the car, and we'll try and add some more in future races. So as it stands right now in the actual performance chart, you can see if these upgrades arrive, we should become the 3rd fastest team on the grid. So let's skip ahead and let's see if the upgrades arrive for USA. Unfortunately, we had a rare failure. Even on a standard development, this upgrade has failed, and it's a major one, so we're going to have to repurchase it, which a bit of an annoying one in terms of, you know, stopping our progress, but nonetheless we're going to get on the car, and fingers crossed we'll get that on for future races. But the next race, guys, is USA. Hopefully you tune in for that one. If you enjoyed this crazy race, leave a like. Let's try and break 1,200 likes on this. I'm going to go for an ambitious target. I believe you guys can deliver. If you're new to the channel, get subscribed for daily F1 content, guys, and as always, a shout out to the members. And if you haven't done so already, check out the 2 videos on screen, and I'll see you guys next time. Until then, take care, and it's goodbye from me.